level. Today we are back in Judenburg for the second event here in 2 weeks, and that is our lineup for our quarterfinal heat number 1 of the ATSX event here. Now, what is ATSX, you ask? Well, that is the All-Terrain Skate Cross Federation. This is a federation that was formed a few years ago in order to govern, or is the governing body of this sport that we call ice cross downhill, formerly known as, or popularly known as, crashed ice. It is, and always will be, one of the fastest sports on ice. Now, the guys are lined up here. Our first heat in this quarterfinal will be Jérôme Auréat. That's him right there in that gate number 1. You can see that red tag on his camera. Next to him, the man who won the event last week, Michael Urban from the Czech Republic in gate number 2. You may see a little green marking on his camera. There you go. And next to him, the man who clocked one of the fastest times here at 62.5 kilometers per hour, Kevin Shibaz, otherwise known as Ski Boots. And the man from down under who made the long journey to get here, Luke Webb from Australia. Aussie Crasher is his nickname. You can also check out his Instagram and other social media pages under Aussie Crasher. And you can see this course is looking very, very rough. The guys spent a lot of time making sure that this course was in skatable condition. The weather conditions last week were beautiful and sunny, but sun has a devastating effect on these tracks because it does make for some soft spots. But there's a cloud cover today. It's a little bit colder than it was last week, so we're going to see some interesting changes in the track. All the grooves and those cuts that were in the track from last week have been tried to be smoothed out, but it's really tough on these natural tracks to really make that happen. You're going to see these guys are going to be rough riding it down this course. Now, something that we should mention, Michael Urban, the man there in the black uniform, has a broken skate. We saw a picture earlier, or at least I saw a picture earlier. There's a crack in the front of his skate holder, and it's at a really inconvenient position because it's at the inside edge, and that's the striding edge where all that power goes to the ice. So will that cause him problems today? Perhaps. Hopefully he doesn't have a devastating destruction of his skate holder and he can continue to skate and defend his winning position from last week here today, but that remains to be seen. These guys put a lot of power to the ice, so hopefully that crack won't cause him any problems, but he's got a good excuse if his skate blade comes flying off if he doesn't win today. Well, there you go. But these guys are competitors, and because he couldn't get a repair done in time for the contest, he decided he is just going to go for it anyway. So balls to the wall for Michael Urban, and good job and congratulations to him. Last-minute preparations are going on course. They're doing a little bit of check on the signage to make sure all the boards are in a good condition. We're also doing last-minute camera checks along the course to make sure that we have all those positions locked and loaded so that we can bring you all the action live from Judenburg, and I will be bringing that action to you as well. So hopefully we'll get this underway shortly. Some interesting things to note here. One of the favorites for this event, Luca Del Lago, was unfortunately tested positive, so is not able to compete here today. That means the entire Del Lago family, the more or less the organizing family of this event, is in quarantine, but they are providing us with updates and information from quarantine, so they'll be able to give us some information as we go along. Also, we should mention Luca Engler. Last week, he had a bit of a collision with somebody and broke his finger, so he won't be skating today either. And we also have to throw a lot of credit out to the following people. The Reinich family, who is completely and deeply involved in the organization here and the operating on track at the moment, along with the Del Lagos. We've got Klaus Reinich. He is in the Finnish area. His David Reinich's mom is also working down there, Alice. So big congratulations and thanks to them for all of the work they're doing on course. We also have his sister Laura, who is working at the start, and I'm getting updated information from David throughout the entire show. So we'll keep you in the deep dirt with that as well. Yeah, tons of other people to mention here. Our start referee, Angie, and let me see if I get this name right because I've been butchering names for years on this event with all the European names. Evganidis. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize, top to bottom. She is actually a doctor, but has spent a ton of time being part of this event, and she is our start referee. So she has a camera on her helmet up there at the start, and her pictures are what you're seeing at the very start. And there you see in our shots is the finish area and that devastating short uphill after the wall ride. And that's another big question. Do you go high on the wall ride, try and generate some speed to get a little bit more oomph into that finish area, or do you go tight around that last corner and just take those last 5 to 10 steps uphill and get that better advantage? That's a couple of different schools of thought there, and so we'll see as the racing goes on today what these guys are deciding on that particular wall ride. Very difficult section of the course, though. And if we run down the course, the different aspects of the course, we have, of course, the start ramp where we have a still picture right there. Then you got the first big roller, which is shortly after that. Oh, there's a great view from up on top of that wall ride. Hopefully we'll see that throughout the day. That is an awesome shot right there. Hard to tell from that angle how steep that uphill is, but it is really steep. And after skating down this 300-meter long course to get to that position, then have to skate uphill to the finish line, that's just a bit bananas and a leg burner for these guys. So, yeah, you got to be fit to be in ice cross downhill, and that's what these athletes definitely are. We will have the men's quarterfinals, 4 heats for you. Then we'll have the women's semifinals, and then the men's semifinals. And we'll get us right down to the last bit of racing here as we take a look from the helmet of Michael Urban. And this is another great thing about this new system with the GoPro cameras on top of the racers' helmets as well as along the course. You get to have a view of the racers' perspective as they go down this track, which is fantastic. It can get a little wild out there, and you don't often see how wild and how tight and how fast these guys are actually going when they're just going past the camera position on course. So this is a really nice way for us to get a real close-up and personal effect of how the racing is on course. Also, got to send big shouts out to the Begander brothers, Nick and Jakob, who have been instrumental in making sure this event and the track got built in time. 300 hours, roughly, to build this track. Now, that's about an hour per meter, if you can imagine that. And these guys took all of their holiday time and all of their free time to come out here and assist with the racing here. And I should also point out that Jakob Begander, has made it into the quarterfinals. So we'll see him racing. Second year of ice cross. And I should correct something. I said it was their first time on skates last year. This is incorrect. It's their first time racing ice cross downhill. These guys come from an American football background. So they're definitely a sportive family. They're definitely athletes, and they are definitely showing they have what it takes to win here on ice cross downhill courses. Albeit this is a 250 level course, but it's still a very challenging course, especially, like I said, with that uphill at the end. So looking forward to some racing, and it appears as though we are getting very close. And hopefully we'll get our first race on course shortly here. Again, Jérôme Auriat from France. He has gate number 1 on the far side. Then we have Michael Urban from the Czech Republic, our winner from last week, sitting in gate number 2 next to him. Kevin Shibos, otherwise known as Ski Boots, a nickname afforded to him by Marco Delago. He is from Switzerland, sitting in gate number 3, and one of the guys who had the fastest speed checks on the course at 62.5 kilometers per hour. And then the Australian right there, representing Down Under, Luke Webb. And I believe he's going to be hanging out on the European side of things and racing in a few of the European events, assuming he can get from event to event. But it would make sense because he can gain some good points. On that, we should also point out there are 15 nations represented here today. Last week we had 18. A couple of nations switched around. We have 15 today, including Japan, represented by, let me see if I can find the name here, Yu Saito. I hope I said that right. Yu Saito from Japan. She's actually a foreign exchange trader. First race was in 2018 in Minnesota, background in alpine skiing, and actually found out about Facebook or found out about Ice Cross Downhill on Facebook and was interested and jumped in. So that's pretty awesome. And again, Finland is in the house. Now, very interesting here, two-time junior world champion Mirko Lahti has made the trip over. And if I look at the list of starters, Mirko Lahti is in heat number 3. Now, he is an incredibly strong skater, a very, very big boy, and when he gets on those edges, it's tough to get by him, but when he starts gliding, he is just so fantastic. I mean, the Finns are all very good when it comes to skating, but Mirko Lahti, two-time junior world champion, and really gave the men a run for their money when he jumped up to the pro level. So look for him to do well today. But this is the beauty about ice cross downhill and cross sports like this. Anything can happen on course. You toe pick, you fall down in first place. The guy that was in third place avoids the carnage in front of him, and there you go, whoop-de-whoop. You've got a winner that wasn't expected. So it's really an exciting sport to watch, and it's really an exciting sport to participate in. And these guys, you know, you get addicted to it. As a commentator, you get addicted to it, and I know as a skater, you get addicted to it. And riding down these courses is a ton of fun. I've had an opportunity to do it, and it is scary, but also very exciting and fun. So I highly recommend it. If you're interested in getting into ice cross downhill, you can go to ATSX.org, and they've got all sorts of information there for you. You can learn a little bit more about the athletes. You can find out about how to join up. You can find out about where the different races are and what races are the good starter races and what races are maybe not necessarily for the beginners once we get back into a normal season of racing. On that note, a normal season of racing will consist of 100 events, which are just local events organized for younger kids and beginning skaters. Then the official ATSX 250 events, which we have here today, worth 250 points for the winner of the race. Then we have the ATSX 500 races and the big ATSX 1000 races, which are World Cup equivalent races. Unfortunately, this year, no 500s or 1000s. We do have 6 races planned for the regular season, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to manage to get a big invitational race with all the winners from the 6 ATSX 250 races and crown a world champion. If not, there'll be local champions crowned at each of the regional event races, and from there, we'll just have to see how the 23-24 seasons progress. Hopefully, we'll be back on a normal scale then. All right, it looks like our racers are ready to go in the gate. And that means heat number 1 in the quarterfinals will be Jérôme Auriat from France going up against Michael Urban from the Czech Republic, our winner from last week, Kevin Schibos from Switzerland, and Luke Webb from Australia. So there we see Michael Urban, Kevin Schibos, ski boots, and the Aussie Crasher. And now it is official. Here we go. First race of the quarterfinals. Locked and loaded.
5 seconds warning.
Good start again by Michael Urban, even with that broken skate, and on board with the Aussie Crasher. Sitting in third place now as he's just made a nice pass. Michael Urban, once he gets on those skates, though, and out in front, he's a really tough guy to pass. He's such a great glider, and you can see right here, he gets down deep, makes as small a profile as possible, and now he just opens it up over that big roller and coming around that corner towards that wall ride, and a nice corner around the tires there, and another view right there from above. Beautiful run by Michael Urban and Kevin Schibos, 1 and 2. Unfortunately for the Aussie Crasher, Luke Webb, he's got third place, and Jérôme Auriat comes across the line in 4th. That means Luke Webb and Jérôme Auriat will be eliminated from competition today. Great job by Michael Urban and Kevin Schibos, though, to get 1 and 2 across the finish line, which are the all-important positions. Hey guys, I'm not hearing any sound from the track. Is that right? Still nothing. All right, so, and there you see our 4 cameras being taken down off the helmets as we head back to the top of the course. And our next list of riders, Jakob Uds will be in the lineup along with Jonathan Merlino, Eric Miauton, and Igor Tutarikov. Jakob Uds, I hope I said that right, is from the Czech Republic. Jonathan Merlino from France, Eric Miauton from Switzerland, and Igor Tutarikov from Russia. So I see that these guys don't have their helmet cameras on board yet, so that will take a few minutes for them to get their cameras on.
We have to wait because of the cameras.
So we have 12 cameras in use here, and you've seen one at that finish wall ride and one on our referee that goes down course with the athletes. So the other cameras have to come back up to the top and be reloaded onto the helmets of these guys. It's a bit time-consuming, and that's just the way it goes. It's a new system of filming these events live with these GoPro cameras on the helmets. And like I said, it's a really nice new way of seeing the whole course from a different perspective, from the rider's perspective, but it does take a little bit of time, unless, of course, we get like 100 GoPro cameras and can have everybody locked and loaded with these cameras from start to finish, and they just keep their cameras on board. So again, Jakob Uds from the Czech Republic with Jonathan Merlino, Eric Miauton, and Igor Tutarikov. There's Jakob there with the yellow sleeves. Right next to him, Jonathan Merlino. And the French always representing well with their jerseys. It's almost team concept with these guys, as they've got the white, blue, and red jerseys. Right next to him is Eric Miauton, also wearing yellow, but with the blue accents. And on the far side, over there on the very right-hand side, the Russian Igor Tutarikov. Igor Tutarikov, the older brother of Denis Tutarikov, who had his first race last weekend. So Igor was the reason why Denis got into it, and I think he's hooked. Denis played ice hockey, has an ice hockey background, and he is, by the way, the youngest athlete in this competition at 16 years of age. Got eliminated earlier on, unfortunately for him, but, you know, that young and that much motivation to be racing, you're going to see these guys staying in the mix over the next couple of years, for sure. Jonathan Merlino, by the way, from France, started in 2018. So far, his biggest achievement or his best placing was 43rd place at the ATSX 1000 race in Yokohama, Japan. He's been roller skating for over 20 years, and ice skating, he only started with 21. So, yeah, I mean, you know, you got that roller skating background or inline skate background. It definitely helps when you get on the ice, but it is a different animal if you're skating on 2.5 millimeters of metal as opposed to 4 thick, fat wheels. Jakob Uds there on the left-hand side. Also, he was the winner of the Open Austrian Championships in 2019. As we take a look back at the race with Michael Urban out in front. I mean, he dominated this one from the gate, basically the fastest start. He did get Kevin right on his tail, but just pulled away in those last few meters. You can see here, headspace for him was go tight around the tires, don't bother with going high. And when you've got a guy like Kevin, who, you know, everybody knows he can go fast, if you go high, Kevin takes the inside tight line, and you've got a second place instead of a first place. So a very wise choice by Michael Urban to take that tight line around the tires. All right, so helmet cams look like they're in good condition. Last minute checks here for everybody.
Farben kommen jetzt. Jakob Udes ist rot, Merlino grün, Miauton
Okay.
blau und der letzte Tutarikov.
Race number 2 for the quarterfinal in the gates. Again, Jakob Udes. I'm just hearing the pronunciation there, so I'm hoping that's correct. Jonathan Merlino right next to him. There's Jonathan. And then Eric Miauton. Hockey hair, the best hockey hair in the list. And then we have Igor Tutarikov from Russia on the far side there.
We have to wait because of the cameras.
So again, just a short wait because of camera setups at the start and finish area. And once again, Michael Urban winning that first race there. Kevin Schibos right behind him. Then Luke Webb coming in third and Jerome Oria in fourth. It's the first two guys across that finish line. And what's also important across that finish line is his feet first. And you cannot slide crazy-wise across the finish line. You do have to go across in control. Otherwise, the finish line referee can disqualify you for being out of control across that finish line, because it's very important that you show control on your skates when racing. And so it's not about upper body parts, knees, heads, arms, legs, feet, elbows, or anything like that. It's about the feet, I should say. It's about the feet going across that finish line first. And again, Michael Urban, who won that first quarterfinal race, he's been racing since 2008, before the World Championship Series started. This sport has been around since the early 2000s. Around 2000, a couple of crazy Austrians came up with the idea, and about 2001 was the first race. Unofficially, 2002 was when we had our official first crashed ice in Sweden, and it's progressed a long way since then. The track technologies for the big races, the skaters, the skills that they bring to each of these races, their off-season training in the last 5 years has just exploded to a point where they're looking for different ways to really train the skills they need on these tracks. All right, looks like we've got a green light, so we'll do a real quick meet and greet of all of our guys before they race. So, Jakob Utz from the Czech Republic, Jonathan Merlino from France, Eric Miauton with the best hair from Switzerland, and Igor Tutarikov, the young Russian, ready to go. And race number 2 of our quarterfinals. Here we go.
Riders, ready? 5 seconds warning.
Wow, great start by Jonathan Merlino. Oh, look at how tight this is. These guys are really battling for positions. Jakob Utz comes out just a little bit in advance of Merlino, and he takes the lead in that really narrow section. You can see this is not wide here as they go through. Udis, nice lead at the moment as he opens up the gap, but not that much. He's got to be careful here as Jonathan Merlino is right on his tail. Igor Tutarikov way back there. It looks like he has fallen down or lost the camera, but it is Udis and Merlino 1 and 2 across the finish line. What a battle uphill. Somebody lost the camera back there, and I do believe it was Igor Tutarikov as Eric Miauton comes across the finish line. Yep, there you see Igor Tutarikov's camera staring up at the trees in disarray, so somebody's going to have to go and find that camera in the bushes up there. Don't know what happened. Maybe in that really tight confine of those 3 guys battling elbow to elbow in those first few meters. Arms flying everywhere, and a camera comes off the top. So one of our course officials is going to have to go downhill to try and find that camera. Let's take a look at this again in replay. What a great start by Jonathan Merlino, though. And look how tight this is. Oh, right there. You can see the camera was already gone from Tutarikov. So he was in 3rd place there. And you can see Jonathan Merlino and Jakob Utz in the first 2 positions. And this is just a great view of how quick these guys are traveling down the course. Oh, and it looked like it was Jakob that went down really quickly, but did manage to stay back up. I wasn't sure who that was. No, excuse me. It was Eric Miauton. He still had his camera with him as he comes up those last few steps and back to the top. And there you see Mirko Lahti He is going to be a tough one to battle. He's got so much experience in racing on rough, naturalized courses, as well as those smooth, really well-prepared, big 1,000 courses. Mirko Lahti from Finland in gate number 2. Patrick Mertz will have gate number 1 on the very left-hand side. We've got another Frenchman, Leo Kelekis, and Michael Romano from Canada joining us on the very far right-hand side, or rider's left. So your screen right or rider's left position. And Mirko Lahti, he's looking pretty relaxed in that second position there. That is the preferred gate for most of the riders today, as it seems to be the spot that gives them the best opportunity to come out in front and take over the lead. Hey, my camera's gone, or my screen's gone, guys. Oh, it's back. So there you see Patrick Mertz having a quick chat with Mirko Lahti. These guys have been on tour for quite a few years together. And as I said, Mirko Lahti was the 2-time junior world champion in 2017 and 2018 before he jumped to the men's level. And he challenged. Boy, did he ever challenge. He's such a strong skater. I mentioned this earlier at the start of our show, but he is such a strong skater. The one thing that he really needed to work on were his gate starts. And if he's got that locked down, then he will be a force to be reckoned with. And right there, representing Canada, Michael Romano. Nice to have some Canadians in the mix. All right, still waiting on the cameras for the top of the course here. First race for Michael Romano, by the way, was from Mississauga, Ontario. I just was... he's from Mississauga. His first race was in Judenburg in 2019, so 2 years ago. And his first big race... No, excuse me, I'm stepping back a notch too far in my listing. So Michael Romano comes from Mississauga, Ontario. His first race was at Fenway Park. What an incredible event that was in Boston, inside the stadium of Fenway Park with an ATSX 1000 event. Absolutely fantastic there. And what a way to, let's say, pop your cherry, if we're going to be really dirty about it, to get into the sport of ice cross downhill at a race like that one in Boston. He works for Frito-Lay's. Unbelievable. The chip company. Bet you can't just eat one. So again, Patrick Mertz from Switzerland, Mirko Lahti from Finland, Leo Kelekis from France, and Michael Romano waiting for their cameras in this heat number 3 of the quarterfinals. Now we still have this heat and one more heat to go in the quarterfinals. And yeah, it's the whole procedure with getting the cameras back up here that's a little bit time consuming. You can see those hip packs they have to wear is where the transmitters are for the cameras to make sure that everything is recorded nice and clean on our new timing system, which is also very important for us in the broadcast side of things as well as for the racing side of things, to make sure that we see who is across the finish line and when. This should be a really good race, actually. I'm looking to see Mirko Lahti come out of the gate quick and take over an early lead. Patrick Mertz, not going to let him get too far away. Leo Kelekis and Michael Romano, for me, are the two guys here who are probably going to be struggling the most against these two experienced racers. But that doesn't mean they won't do well. It just means that we just don't know a whole lot about them. And we'll see how they do coming off the start here. And I've just been given a little bit of information here. I mentioned the whole control rule about sliding across the finish line. It seems as though that has been removed from the rule book. So you can, in fact, slide across the finish line. You just have to play it with a little bit of caution so that your skate's not sticking up in the air and maybe damaging somebody else or injuring somebody else. So, of course, that's a thing to keep in mind. But, yep, the updated rule book has the control rule out the window. All right, looks like we're ready to go with heat number 3 in the quarterfinals with Patrick Mertz, Mirko Lahti, Leo Kelekis, and Michael Romano. Patrick Mertz.
Ready.
Mirko Lahti, Leo Kelekis, and Michael Romano.
Riders ready. 5 seconds warning.
Wow, good start by all 4 guys. It's a tight one to that first corner, and Mirko Lahti pulls out in front. Look at how nicely he goes over those rollers, a quick step on the tabletop, and he is down in that deep, low wind position to try and keep himself out in front. He's a tough one to get by, as Michael Romano from Canada is right behind him. And it looks like Leo Kelekis has lost his camera along the way. Yep. So, Mirko Lahti with the first position. Oh, and it's a great battle right to the finish line for Michael Romano. The question is, Leo Kelekis is now complaining that Michael Romano pushed him down as he cut across the line. It looked to me like Michael Romano was doing his best to defend his line and his position, which is allowed. So we'll have to look back at the replay to see if there was actually a push. And Leo Kelekis is protesting at this point, so there will be a review of this one, I believe. Let's take a look back at the start. Leo Kelekis doesn't have a camera on his helmet. Looks like they didn't even bother putting it on him. His camera is still sitting at the start, but this was a dead quick start by Mirko Lahti as he is out in front on this one. The view from Patrick Mertz as he's sitting back in 4th place. I'm a little bit surprised by his position, actually, but Mirko Lahti so strong on his skates, and yeah, he got a little bit out of the back seat on that one last roller. They're calling it the wee roller, I believe, but yeah. And there's the battle right to the finish line. Michael Romano cuts off Leo Kelekis. So the question is, will he be disqualified, or is that considered fair defending your line? So just waiting on some official results here. It seems like we're in protest modus, so there's been no actual results posted. I mean, it was pretty clear for me that Mirko Lahti had that one locked down. The question is about that second position. And there you see Martin Nolowski from the Czech Republic. Robin Whirling representing Great Britain but trains in Canada. There's Jakob Begander. He's wearing the Couch Garden jersey. And Levi Nikari. Now, actually, Jakob was faster than Levi in an earlier race. And Levi Nikari, also a junior world champion, a very, very good skater. So let's see how this battle goes. I mean, Jakob has that preferred second position gate. Levi Nikari in position 1, but I don't think it's ever bothered Levi what position he starts in. He's so quick out of the gate, and he's so good on his skates. Even for a small guy, he's so greasy around those corners. He can find those inside lines to get past skaters. So if he can get out in front, the problem for him is maintaining that position. But if he is behind, he doesn't seem to stress at all. He just seems to find those greasy lines and looks for those good moves to the inside. Still waiting on results from heat number 3 with Patrick Mertz, Mirko Lahti, Leo Kelekis, and Michael Romano. And I think the big discussion right now is, did Michael Romano push Leo Kelekis down and hold him back, which would mean a disqualification for the Canadian, or was it just defending his line and Leo Kelekis just got the worst of it? Taking a look again at the replay start. Let's watch this race, and particularly the finish line for these ones. And again, you could see a pretty close race in the second position between Michael Romano, who's got second position right now, but Leo Kelekis is right there on his tail, drafting behind Leo. And those top 3 guys are not that far apart, so one small mistake out in front can mean a change. And this is what I was talking about right off the top of the show, how nice that is for this type of racing. Now, Kelekis did have a slight advantage here, but Romano slides in front of him and puts the feet across the finish line first. And Kelekis is arguing that that was a push, but from my perspective, it did not seem as though he pushed him down. So that is the big question right now.
Blau und Malowski schwarz. Danke, habe verstanden. Franzi an Klaus. Es war keine DQ, hat der David mir gesagt, ich bräuchte bitte nur noch die Ergebnisse.
All right, so scuttlebutt it's defending the line, and it was a fair finish, but still unofficial yet, so we're waiting on the final numbers here for that heat number 3, and that will give us time to prepare heat number 1 there in red gate. That is Levi Nikari from Finland. In the green gate right next to him, Jakob Begander, who is instrumental in helping in the construction and organization here at this event. And next to him, Robin Whirling, representing Great Britain, but trains in Calgary, Alberta. Olympic City, by the way, from way back when. And Martin Nalovsky from the Czech Republic in the mix there as well. Martin Nalovsky on the black gate on the far side, giving us the eye right now. Robin Whirling also, if you've ever seen the skating, 10-meter long skating basketball slam, well, that's that guy that pulled that one off. Absolutely incredible athletic feat. And it looks like we have at least 3 cameras set up top there. They're still changing the data for the cameras. Okay, we do have an official count here for our heat number 3. So as we saw, Mirko Lahti, number 1 on that one. Michael Romano did get number 2. It was considered defending the line. He didn't push or pull on Leo Kelekis. So unfortunately for Leo, he battled right to the very end, but Michael Romano, with just the intelligent move across to make sure that he was in front at the finish line. And of course, Patrick Mertz came across the finish line in 4th place on that one without his camera. Or excuse me, no, it was Leo Kelekis without the camera, but Patrick Mertz, 4th place on that one. So we'll see Mirko Lahti and Michael Romano moving on to the semifinals. And now we are locked and loaded for Levi Nikari, Jakob Begander, Robin Whirling, and Martin Nalovsky.
5 seconds warning.
Oh, really nice start by Levi Nikari and Martin Nalovsky, who have the 1 and 2 positions there. Robin Whirling actually snuck in there, and he had that 2nd position. And now the battle here is really heating up as Jakob has just moved into 2nd position and is trying to push on getting past. Oh my goodness, look what's happened here though. Robin Whirling with a fantastic greasy pass on the outside as he heads toward that wall ride. And if he doesn't make any mistakes, he's won this one. What a great job by the Brit. And now the battle really came down to 2nd place. Was it Nikari or was it Martin Nalovsky? I don't know what happened there to Jakob Begander. He looked really good. It looked like he was going to challenge Nikari for the top spot, and the two of them completely ignored the fact that Robin Whirling was burning down the outside, burning down the house, as you say. And so Robin Whirling has won this one. We will see him in the semifinals. Now the question is, who came across that finish line in 2nd place? It was a very close battle there, I believe, between Levi Nikari and Martin Nalovsky.
Yeah, bring the screw too. Take the screw. Because it's both okay,
And that was one of the most exciting races of these quarterfinals so far. So Robin Whirling with a great pass on the outside wins that one. And I'm hoping we get to see that replay because that was just fantastic. As our for the women gets loaded into position. So I've just been informed no replay. It looks like our time is a little bit short, so I'll update you as soon as our timing system is updated. So we're going to have just 3 women in heat number 1 of the semifinal for women. Veronika Windisch, that woman right there, she was the winner from last week. There you see Virginie Schneider, and that's Cyril Lobo from France in that number 1 position.
Wir fangen jetzt mit den Damen an. Damen, erstes Heat.
Rethinking logistics and refusing to accept limits. Offering what others don't have, but absolutely need. Transporting freight by rail, where it really belongs. Creating end-to-end solutions. Not only shaping the standard in rail freight transport, but defining it. This only works with the right amount of innovation, and we have more than just the right amount. We think outside the box, and when it gets tough, our work really begins. We make possible what others think is impossible. From Austria to all of Europe, we think locally and work globally. Our solutions are all in one. Work on a small and large scale, regionally and internationally. Step by step, from the idea to the realization, from the first draft to serial production. 20 years of experience offering highest quality without losing track of the goal, creating all-in solutions. Today for a sustainable tomorrow. Shifting transports from road to rail, reducing CO2 emissions by providing what industries need. We make rail freight transport flexible, offer modular solutions, and put individual needs first. Freight, moving limits since 2002.
Final woman, small final man. Final woman, final man. Jonas?
All right, so our women are lined up, and I've just been informed my mute button doesn't work at all, so I better not swear when I go to talk to the boys outside in the regie or the directors here. So our ladies are coming up. Veronika Windisch, Virginie Schneider, and Cyrille Lobo. We've got an Austrian, a Belgian, and a French woman in the mix there, and there's a lot of organization going on there just right now to figure out who the winner, or the second place was in that heat number 4 for our men. It was so close, I believe, between Levi Nakari and Martin Nolowski. So just waiting on the final results there. I mean, you know, that's photo finish stuff they got to really, really take a very, very close look at to make sure that it was fair. Robin Whirling, though, what a great job by the Brit to come across that finish line with an absolutely fantastic outside line pass to take the lead at the very last few meters, come around that 180-degree wall ride. Didn't bother using the wall ride. He just kept tight to the tires and took those last few strides to the finish line for the win. So we'll see Robin Whirling in the semifinal, and you gotta love this guy. I mean, he just keeps getting better and better from season to season. All right, so as I said, Veronika Windisch, Virginie Schneider, and Cyrille Lobo, 1, 2, and 3 in our semifinal for the women. And I believe that might have been shot down course already because I'm seeing results on my screen here. So surprises all around for everybody. Veronika Windisch, a former short track speed skater who participated in 2 Olympic Games and has switched over to ice cross downhill and absolutely is dominant. So it does look like they've sent semifinal number 1 of our women down, which is a bit unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen that race because I think it would have been a good one. And it looks like we have semifinal number 2 in the gates. And semifinal number 2 will have Amandine Condroyer from France going up against Karolina Pflugerova from the Czech Republic and Petra Mrňová from the Czech Republic. So another one with a couple of Czech skaters in there. Amandine Condroyer, definitely the strongest of the 3, comes from an inline stunt skating or aggressive skating background. So this is a perfect mix for somebody like her, where you've got transition skills which you absolutely need for working on the rollers and the different jumps. And of course, if you're an aggressive skater, you know how to jump on a pair of skates, and that's something that absolutely plays a role here. Then it's really just about figuring out the nuances of the ice and the nuances of the thinner blade and how to find the right lines. And Amandine has done a good job of that in the last few years. So Amandine with the gate number 1, Karolina with gate number 2, and Petra with gate number 3. And that start list you see on the left there is, or a finish line, is Robin Worling winning the last one with Levi Nakari taking second. And we have semifinal heat number 2 on course with Amandine having a great start as expected. So it seems like our ladies don't get the cameras. I don't know why that is. It's a bit strange that we're not following these girls down course, and I'm really hoping that we will for the small final and the final, because the racing with the women is intense. It could be because there's just 3 athletes on course. They not wasting any time with it here, and there they come. Amandine with a good solid lead on, it looks like it was Karolina Pflugerova, as she comes down through the roller set into the last few meters and across the finish line in first place. So a good job by Amandine to take this one down. Didn't look like she had too many problems with that one at all, with a great start. And our 2 Czech athletes are just excited to be finishing that course in one piece. You gotta love how much fun it is to race on these tracks and the fun that these ladies are having out there. So good job. Should also mention that our juniors raced earlier on the day. Arthur Richalet-Chadeur from France won the juniors competition here, with Nick Begander coming in second place and Jakob Begander coming in third place. So the Begander boys dominating here and doing a good job, and we'll see them definitely in the future, as looks like we are locking our next men's heat in semifinal number 1 in the gate.
Wie viele Rennen haben wir jetzt noch?
So again, it's just about the cameras, getting them on the guys. And just confirming the results from that last heat, it is Amandine Condroyer in first place, Karolina Pflugerova in second, and Petra Mrnova in third place. So great job to see more ladies participating in ice cross downhill, and we are going to see a pretty strong final, I would say. I think Amandine is going to put a challenge to Veronika. She really wants to take a win here to start this season off strong. We'll definitely see Amandine and Veronika battling throughout this season at a couple of the other events as we go along. Just waiting for the official lineup for heat number 1 of our semifinal for the men. So Michael Urban in there. You could see also Kevin Schibos, Jakob Udis, and Jonathan Merlino. So we have 3 cameras hooked up. 4th one is getting booted up and mounted now, and we'll get racing underway here. And they're just putting Jakob Udis' camera on right now. Michael Urban in his favorite gate right next to him. Jonathan Merlino in gate number 3. And Kevin Schibos. I love the nickname Ski Boots. I got to ask Marco Delago where that came from. And, yep, here we go. Race number 1, semifinal, heat 1. Here we go.
Riders ready? 5 seconds warning.
Again, Michael Urban with a fantastic start right out of the gate, but this time Jonathan Merlino right there on top of him with Jakob Udas looking a bit sneaky on that outside line, but it's Michael Urban striding and now getting into that glide position as they come towards a little set of rollers. Udas trying to find a line to get past Jonathan. Oh, Jonathan and Udas battling really hard here over the wee roller at the finish corner here, the wall ride. Michael Urban still in the lead. Oh, and a bit of a turnaround there and a fall. It's a fall for, it was Jakob Udas that went down, and it was Kevin Shibos, I believe, that came across the line in second, or was it Jonathan Merlino? Oh my goodness, it was chaos at the finish corner. Michael Urban stayed safe out in front, so he's got the win on that one. But that was chaos at that last corner as Jakob Udas, who looked like he was going to try and battle for the second place, looped out and went down and left it wide open for Jonathan Merlino and Kevin Shibos. The question is, which one of those two came across in second place to go to the final? Holy smokes, folks, what a race that was. Let's look again here. So Michael Urban in that position that he's so familiar with here out in front, and it looks like he's going to defend this weekend if he stays skating like this and if his skate stays in one piece. Here's that battle on the top left-hand corner, though, between Jonathan Merlino and Jakob Udas. And at the corner, let's watch it closely here. Urban gets it. Udas, he toe picks and goes down, and it's Jonathan Merlino who avoids the chaos and comes across just ahead of Kevin Shibos. Unfortunate for the Swiss man, but a great job by the Frenchman, Jonathan Merlino, to make it into second place, and he will be in the final. What a great race that was. Excitement from top to bottom, good battling, shoulder-to-shoulder racing, really, really great heat. That was a good one, huh? I like that. So, Michael Urban continues to show he is ready for this season to take it down. And if he continues skating like this today and in the future events on the European side of things, he may be a regional champion. And definitely we will see him racing if, fingers crossed, if we do get to go and have a big final showdown with all the athletes who were tops in the 6 events of the season. One can always wish. So Michael Urban gets that one. Jonathan Merlino with a fantastic avoidance around the far outside at the finish line to stay on his skates and come in second place just ahead of Kevin Shibos. And unfortunately, Jakob Udas, he ends up crashing with a toe pick just in the final few meters. That is a heartbreaker, especially how well he skated down that course to stay with the top guys and be right there in the mix. But that's ice cross downhill, folks. Anything can happen, and that's what makes it so much fun to watch and so exciting to watch as well. So we will have one more semifinal to lock and load our men's small final and men's final. And we go back up to the top here as we wait for our cameras to be replaced up top, as well as to get our athletes up there too. So we'll see in the semifinal number 2, Mirko Lahti, along with Michael Romano, and then Levi Nakari and Robin Warling in heat number 2 of the semifinal. And whoever comes out in the top 2 positions there will break down into our final heat, which should be a really good one. And if that is, I mean, if we do see Michael Urban and Jonathan Merlino along with Mirko Lahti and maybe Levi Nakari in the final, whew, that will be a beast of a final heat. But again, anything can happen out there. A toe pick, a rough piece of ice where you lose an edge, you go down, you run into the wall, you get thrown off the side of the course altogether. Yeah, it's anybody's game as we take a look at the replay here of that semifinal heat number 1. Look how close those first 3 guys are. And you know what's really incredible here is they're staying really tight on Michael Urban until right here, and Michael Urban just opens it up and runs away with this one again. And here, striding, toe picks, he goes down, Jakob Udas goes down, and that means that going around the outside, Jonathan Merlino manages to avoid any contact with the guys, including Kevin Shibas, who was tangled up in there a little bit, and gets that second position. It's those all-important first 2 spots to move on to the next round of heats. All right, so it is set for heat number 2 in the semifinal with Mirko Lahti, Michael Romano, Robin Whirling, who had that greasy outside line pass. Love to see that. And Levi Nakari competing with the big dogs here. But Levi Nakari, slight, light, quick, very greasy on those passes on the inside. And if he can get out of the gate quick and on this narrow course, keep those elbows out, he might do well. But he's got a hard battle ahead of him against a big Robin Whirling. Oh, my goodness. And Robin Whirling, it looks like the heat's already on course, and he's just gone flying. And Mirko Lahti, this was a surprise one. It just headed towards the finish line, and it is Robin Whirling just absolutely flew there. It looks like he might have hurt his hand, but it was Mirko Lahti and Michael Romano, 1 and 2 there. That was a surprising heat. I mean, I was shocked to see them come down. Levi Nakari, I don't know what happened there, but he was ripping down the course. But Robin Whirling, he just got a little bit in the back seat over that last jump and went flying down into the tires. Right back up, though. Looks like maybe he jammed his hand or wrist. Hopefully nothing is damaged, but Mirko Lahti had that one. But it was close from top to bottom by the looks of it. I hope we get a replay somehow on at least the last few meters here. And the discussion now is whether or not Michael Romano gave Robin Whirling a push, which would mean a disqualification. But because Robin Whirling, I believe, came across the finish line in 4th, it won't matter. And that would leave Levi Nakari in that second position to go on with the other Finn in that heat, Mirko Lahti. So we're waiting to see what the final results are here. So we do have people on the sidelines filming so that we can check in slow-mo. It's all grassroots at the moment here, but everything seems to be really taken care of as far as making sure that all of these races can be done as fairly as possible with as many sideline referees as possible to make sure that each of these small instances that do happen on course are observed by at least 1 or 2 officials. So Mirko Lahti, first place. Michael Romano did get second place, so it looks like it's an official non-DQ here. All good for Michael Romano. So we will see him with Mirko Lahti in the final. So that means Robin Whirling came across in 4th after that big crash. Levi Nakari 3rd. Those 2 guys will go to the consolation final, or small final as they call it here. And now we have just waiting for the women's small final. And it's just between 2 athletes who will just skate down. Cyrille Lobo and Petra Menova from the Czech Republic. So just taking a look at my info screen here to see if it's been updated yet. I only have the results from semifinal number 2 so far. All right, and it does appear as there is a heat on course with just 2 athletes. So this is for positions 5 and 6 in the competition, because we will only have a women's final with 4 athletes on course, because we only had 6 ladies here, unfortunately, that actually managed to stay in the mix. Okay. So we're still hanging at the finish line there and waiting for Cyrille Lobo from France and Petra Menova from the Czech Republic to come across that finish line. Yeah, the problem is I'm not sure if they've dropped them from the top yet or if they're still waiting to let them run the course or if they will actually, in fact, run the course. So that's the big question at the moment. All right, so it appears as though we're having some camera issues. Yeah, these things happen. It is what it is. I mean, we're talking live TV, more or less here, with a very new system that we've never used before. So there are going to be growing pains with these situations. So we just have to wait a few minutes and hopefully we will have the camera issues resolved and we'll have some racing back on course. So my understanding is now that our two small final athletes for the women will race, but we will wait until we have our cameras up and running and properly in order before they do jump on course. And that means we've got a bit of a delay here. And we can talk a little bit about that final heat, which is going to be with Michael Urban. We saw being dominant here last week. He won the event here last week. He hasn't been up yet against Mirko Lahti, though, and Mirko Lahti, as we know, is a very, very strong competitor. These two guys know each other from the tour over the last couple of years. They've had plenty of battles together in and on the ice, and so that, I think, is going to be the premier contest. But, interestingly enough, the young Canadian guy, Michael Romano, has shown a lot of gusto out there on course, and he is a pretty intelligent competitor from my perspective here. He could mess up the whole thing a little bit for these guys, so we will see. So we'll see Michael Urban in there. We'll see Michael Romano in there. We'll see Jonathan Merlino, the Frenchman, in there, and we'll see... excuse me, where'd he go? Mirko Lahti in there. So the big heat, I think, is going to be, or the big battle is going to be between Mirko Lahti and Michael Urban. Mirko Lahti did not compete here last week. Michael Urban, as I said, won this event last week. Mirko Lahti, a strong competitor. And I have a feeling the battle is going to be between these two guys. The interesting one might be between Jonathan Merlino from France and Michael Romano to see who comes in third or fourth place. But again, the thing is, anything can happen, and we might find that Jonathan and Michael blast out of the gate with the adrenaline rush of wanting to have a really strong win against some great competitors, and they turn everything on its head. So like I've been mentioning from the top of our show, it's like anybody's guess who's going to win these races. Anything can happen. The ice conditions get rougher as the day goes on. All of the carving around those corners makes big grooves in the ice. And if you get a skate caught in there in the lead, you toe pick, something happens, somebody else gives you a little shoulder to try and protect their line, then you've got a problem, and the guys in the back, if they avoid the carnage, can move into the top spot. So we'll see what happens as things get organized there. So no update yet on our system yet. We're still seeing the current heat locked and loaded in the gate for the French woman Cyrille Lobo and for the Czech woman Petra Menyova. So that should be the next heat. It could be, though, however, that they decide to drop the small finals from both the women and the men because of our timing and the issues that we're having now with the cameras, and we'll just see the finals for women and men. In that case, we'll start with the women and then finish up the show today with the men's final. But still waiting on the update on that. And just updates here. Been given some information to pass on to you guys. This is actually the fourth race in Judenburg after 4 races in Wagrain Kleinal It's the 8th consecutive set of races in Austria. I mean, this is a hotbed for ice cross downhill. It's where the sport was born, and it seems to be where it is developing pretty much the most. And we've seen through Marco and Luca Delago, they were a couple of the very first athletes to really take their off-season training to another level. You've seen video of them running up and down stairs to really get their leg strength and their endurance up to par. And we saw that a couple of years ago when Marco Delago absolutely surprised everybody by exploding out of the gate. And that, in fact, was the first year where he won the World Championship against some mega competitors from around the world, from Canada, from the USA, from Finland, from Sweden, from all over the place. And those were the guys that made everybody kind of go, maybe we should start to think about our off-season training. And that's when the sport just took a leap into another dimension of athleticism at all. And also they have the Couch Garden, which is this crazy setup in the woods where they've got basically it's a lumber cross setup. So it's a type of racing on inline skates where they're going down these courses where they've made out of random pieces of wood, and they've got a couch on top of this jump area where they can jump into it. I mean, just go and check out Couch Garden crew videos on YouTube and you'll exactly understand what I'm talking about. It's bananas, but it's also a lot of fun, and it gives them an opportunity to train in the off season as well. And this is also, this event is being held on the Luge Club Obdach. It's one of the best natural track ice luge tracks in the world. And if you've ever seen natural track luge, that's also a little bit of craziness. I mean, these guys are lying down, controlling the luge with their knees and their legs, and they are going fast. I mean, you think 62.5 kilometers from Kevin Shibo's ski boots is fast? No. These luge guys, they get going really, really fast because their profile is lying down, so there's hardly any wind resistance whatsoever. So, yeah, it's crazy. And just going back to the fitness side of things with these athletes, I mean, you know, it's exploded over the last couple of years. You're seeing guys do all sorts of different types of training. It's almost like the Rocky situation, punching meat in the locker. You know, you see these guys running up and down woods and skating on natural ice and building crazy dirt tracks. There's a lot of athletes that are actually practicing in the summertime with the big wheeled off-road inline skates on mountain bike courses, or you see them racing with each other on their inline skates on BMX racetracks. So there's all sorts of different off-season training things that these guys are doing. And I've just been given another piece of information. These luge guys can hit speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour. So yeah, pretty fast, huh? All right, so still waiting on the camera situation to be organized, and yeah, maybe we can give you some video footage from some previous races that we've had in the past, like Boston or Yokohama, just to bide the time here for a few minutes, and maybe our guys in the director's chairs can put on some of that footage for us and give you something to watch to keep you entertained for the next few minutes. Yeah, highlights from last week, so we'll take a look at that.
If you take out the drone, you get $10 from me. Taking out the drone is worth $10. Let's go!
You got this.
If you take out the drone, you get 10 bucks from me. Taking out the drone is worth 10 bucks. So some fantastic action from last weekend, and yeah, we're hoping to get back into the fantastic action here. Just going back to some of the other training stuff that these guys are also doing. BMX and mountain bike pump tracks are also an excellent way to improve your skills in these situations. And we used to have a guy, Claudio Caluri from Switzerland, who was a racer back in the day and then ended up doing the point of view camera for a lot of the big races around the world. I used to call him his own cartoon character when he was out there because he had some great lines, but he also builds some of the best pump tracks in the world. Velo Solutions is his company. So if you're interested in pump track information, that's where to check it out. Also, the Austrian Federation is the event organizer for this one, and it was founded in 2015. Michael Kreiner, the granddaddy caddy, one of the original crazy men from Ice Cross Downhill, was the guy who founded it, and his first race was in Klagenfurt in 2002. You can't miss the guy. He's got the red mohawk or the pink mohawk or pick a color mohawk, and just a fantastic character in the sport. Still races to this day in some of the races as one of the elder statesmen. So would love to see him on the track here at some point, just showing these young kids what it was like back in the day. Oh, and it looks like we have a race in the blocks for our women. So let's see. Karolina Pflugerova, Veronika Windisch, Amandine Condroyer, and Virginie Schneider. This is a solid heat right here. Obviously, Veronika Windisch is the favorite, as she was the winner from last week. Amandine Condroyer from France, not a shrinking violet. She is not going to let Veronika Windisch get away with this one easily. And if she can catch up and keep up with Veronika Windisch and find a line maybe around the outside, then it may be a good chance for the Frenchwoman to have a win here. Virginie Schneider and Karolina Pflugerova also could be in the mix in this one. It's all about who gets out of the gate quickly here, but Veronika Windisch is so strong. It should be a very good battle, and Veronika has, it looks like, gate number 2, so that's the gate of choice for most of the athletes that have been having good results today. All right, so it looks like we are solid for our women's final heat. And as I mentioned, because of time, we dropped the small final And we are on course, and it is Veronika Windisch right away out in front. Amandine Condroyer getting in second place, and they are pulling away through the rollers and over that tabletop as we get on board here with Virginie Schneider from Belgium, who's sitting back in fourth place. Karolina Pflugerova from the Czech Republic in third. Amandine right behind Veronika Windisch. And Veronika is all about getting out in front and not making any mistakes. There's that long right-hand sweeping corner, the rollers just before that last 180-degree turn. And it's another win for Veronika Windisch from Austria. And Amandine Condroyer comes in second place from France with, it looks like, Karolina Pflugerova in third place from the Czech Republic, and Virginie Schneider rounding out the podium in fourth. So a lot of celebrations going down in the finish area. Another great win by Veronika Windisch, and she is more or less indestructible at the moment. So, yeah, an unbelievable competitor. Look for her to just be taking down courses left, right, and center. Amandine Condroyer from France, the former aggressive inline skater, rolls in, literally in second place here. And you can see in the replay, yeah, those first two ladies just open it up over the rollers, really utilizing the ability to pump and glide over those sections to advance and open up that lead out in front. Amandine was not letting Veronika get too far away here, as you can see from her camera point of view. And a couple of sketchy moments for Veronika there in that one wee roller. But she managed to keep it together, and the former Olympian comes across the finish line in first place with Amandine right behind her. But like I said, not that far behind. So great racing by our women's final. And there you go. We have results, and that is Veronika Windisch wins it 2 weekends in a row. Amandine Condroyer, a second place here with Karolina Pflugerova from the Czech Republic in third place, and Virginie Schneider from Belgium in fourth place. So that is our 1, 2, 3, 4 for our women, and we will get the men's final on track shortly. Now, I don't believe we are going to see the men's small final. If we do, it will be with Levi Nikari, Kevin Shibos, Robin Warling, and Jakob Udis. I kind of feel like they're not going to do it, though, because of the long delay that we had with our camera problems. But, yeah, I mean, I hope we can see two races, but the likelihood is we'll just jump straight to the men's final, because that just makes the most sense for our timing here today, as we did have such a lot of a delay there for our camera problems. So just waiting to see what my screen says here on the update. I've still got the small final in the list. We'll see if that actually does happen to be where we go. And then we may have two races to close out the show here today in Judenburg. And one more time, taking a look at the replay, Veronika Windisch just has air in front of her. Amandine Condroyer, she knows that she's got those skills and can really utilize the rollers and those transitions to try and close the gap on Veronika because of her aggressive inline skate background. But, yeah, the skills on the edges and the gliding ability of Veronika are just unmatched here. Even though Amandine is very, very good, just wasn't quite enough. Had this course been maybe 100 to 150 meters longer, Amandine may have had a chance to catch up, because, additional rollers or additional features on a course like this can really play a role in how well somebody navigates through those areas. And somebody with an inline skate background will definitely have more skills over those transition areas and being able to really utilize that pump, that backside and frontside pump over some of those features to generate speed, as opposed to skating. And a lot of the times, they say skate, skate, skate. Well, on an ice cross downhill course, that's not always the best piece of advice, because skating can actually sometimes slow you down, where gliding has the better advantage. And you don't always need to jump over a tabletop. Sometimes footing the tabletop, which means putting a foot down on top of the tabletop and letting your foot push out, going over that tabletop, can be a little bit faster than trying to air over the tabletop. So a lot of things happen on these courses, and a lot of technical skills come to play on these courses, and all of these things come together to make a complete racer. And somebody like Michael Urban, and it looks like it is the actual final that we're going to be locking and loading into the gate here, will be... Now, wait a minute here. I'm seeing... Yeah, it's going to be our final. Yep, I see Mirko Lahti there. I see Michael Urban in gate number 2. That's the position he likes. I think we're on board right there with our Frenchman, Jonathan. Yeah, that's Jonathan. No, that's Jonathan next to that is Michael Urban's camera right there on the bottom right-hand side. Mirko Lahti, top right-hand side. Could it be? No. Mirko Lahti, bottom left-hand side, top right-hand side. Looks like it's Jonathan Merlino. And the camera for Jerome, for our last athlete in the mix there. Not quite set. So Jonathan Merlino. Michael Urban. Mirko Lahti. And Michael Romano. Where is Michael Romano, though? Has he stepped back from the gate? That's that top left-hand screen should be Michael Romano's camera. But he is not there yet from the look of it. So just waiting to see if he is injured. I hope not. Obviously, that would be crummy for him. And we're just waiting on all the camera positions to be completed and our transmitters to be turned on, because you could see the camera angle from Jonathan Merlino is, we've got a stand or a standing picture there. So there may be a transmission or a battery problem. It looks like for Mirko Lahti and Michael Urban, their cameras are all good as they get the fist bumps. And yeah, maybe Michael Romano is just not going to run with a camera on this one here. So Mirko Lahti, gate 1, Michael Urban, Jonathan Merlino, and Michael Romano, 1, 2, 3, 4 for our men's final. All right, and we are on course, and oh, look at that. Mirko Lahti with a nice pull out just sneaks ahead of Michael Urban. Michael Urban now in the second position, and Mirko Lahti out in front. No sign of Jonathan Merlino or Michael Romano's cameras, as both of them seem to be defective. Oh, but look at the glide skill for Michael Urban as he makes a fantastic pass on the outside of Mirko Lahti and takes over the lead. Hopefully no mistakes from Urban as he's got that corner. Oh, and it's a big battle as it looks like. Oh my God, at the finish line, it's a crazy finish. And I believe Michael Romano actually came across in second place. Michael Urban should have gotten that one. I think Mirko Lahti fell down just at the tires, which meant that Michael Romano from Canada was chasing him. No camera on him to see what was happening. What a crazy finish that was. Mirko Lahti battling right to the end, and the corner toe picks goes down. Hopefully we get another picture position or another camera angle from that we can have a look at. But Michael Urban with an absolutely fantastic pass on the outside. His gliding ability is just bananas against such a good skater like Mirko Lahti, and a little bit of, too much adrenaline for Mirko Lahti at the finish line. He toe picks, goes down. At least I believe that's what happened, because I saw the red socks of Michael Romano pass by and go across the finish line second place. So let's just see what the final results do come up. I'm still looking at my screen here. No actual official results. So Mirko Lahti, Michael Urban, Jonathan Merlino, and Michael Romano was that last heat. And Mirko Lahti had a good start. He was actually out in front, but Michael Urban stayed right with him. And that Czech athlete with such great gliding ability just snuck past on the outside. And I guess Jonathan Merlino from Canada was right on Mirko Lahti's tail as they came around that last corner. And let's see. Okay, it is confirmed. Michael Urban wins 2 times in a row here in Judenburg. Michael Romano from Canada did, in fact, take second place. Mirko Lahti, third place after toe picking and falling down at the finish line. And Jonathan Merlino from France ends up in fourth. So your podium here for the men is Michael Urban. Once again, that guy is just incredible, with Michael Romano from Canada taking second place on the steps and Mirko Lahti with his first podium finish of this season in third place. What a great job by these guys. What an incredible last race of the day. We are sorry for the banana pie with our camera system for the moment. It happens, and like I said, it is a new way of doing these races to keep us really on top of everything that's happening out there and giving you a rider's point of view on the course. But that's the way it goes. When you're an innovator and you're doing something new, sometimes problems are going to occur. And there you go. Those 3 gentlemen right there is our podium here for the men at our second race in Judenburg, Austria, with, again, Michael Urban taking it down 2 times in a row. What a great job by him. Mirko Lahti's going to be disappointed by that. He is a competitive guy, but you know, third place, he's not going to argue that. And Michael Romano from Canada is going to be very, very stoked with the results there. And I think we're going to be seeing a few of these athletes sticking around for the remainder of this season to be able to skate and race at a few other events. I'll give you a list of the events that are coming up, by the way. So we are done and dusted with our 2 Judenburg events. The next one will come from the United States of America. It's Mont du Lac. Whether or not we'll have a live broadcast of that one remains to be seen, but eventually you will get highlights of that event. Then we will jump to Finland to the event in Rautalampi on the 4th of February 22. I should say the next event, Mont du Lac, on the 28th of January. So next weekend, back-to-back weekends for all of the racing here. Unfortunately, you probably won't be seeing any of the athletes that were racing here in Judenburg this weekend racing in Mont du Lac because of travel restrictions. But more than likely, we will have a lot of the guys and girls that raced here in Judenburg racing in Rautalampi in Finland on the 4th of February. Then we move on to the Czech Republic on the 12th of February in Velké Karlovice. I hope I said that right. Again, murdering names all weekend long. And then our last of the 6 races for this season in the 250 profile on the 18th of February in Alpi di Siusi in Italy. That'll be the first race in quite a long time in Italy, and that will be exciting to see how that one turns out. And we're hoping that we will be able to do live broadcasts, as we've done here in Judenburg, for all of these following events on the European side. And we hope to be able to bring you some live footage from Mont du Lac in the USA. But again, we'll get after-the-fact footage of that for sure for highlights for down the road, worst case. So, it's been an interesting weekend of racing. It's been an interesting 2 weeks of development in the sport of ice cross downhill to try and improve and take it to the next level with our camera work, and that will also get worked out over time. Innovators sometimes get a slap in the face, and that's what we had today. We hope you guys enjoyed this second race from Judenburg. Until next time, I'm Troy Mannering signing off for the ATSX live broadcast. Till next time, everybody, take care, ciao, and be good out there. See ya.